Hello everyone, today we are going to be making a hat. It's going to be the Yeti or Abominable Snowman from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer movie or book. It is the colors you would need obviously are white and I use a baby blue color. I like Red Heart Super Saver yarn, so I use those. You can choose whichever colors you like, but for a Yeti those are usually white, and then whatever color you want behind the eyes and the mouth. And then you're also going to need black for the pupils of the eyes and behind the mouth and everything, so we'll get to that later. First we're going to start off with the shell of the hat, so the outer portion of the hat. So what you're going to need to do first off is make a slip knot. If you are unfamiliar with making slip knots, there are other tutorials out there for you to learn how to make a slip knot. Today we're going to be using size H hook or 5mm, and then when we move on to making the accessories on the hat, like the eyes, using the blue and the black, we are going to use an eye hook, which is a 5.5mm hook. So keep that handy off to the side. I like to use a yarn needle as well to sew in my ends, so you'll need one of those as well. So first off, we're going to start making the hat. So if you know how to make your own style of hat, then go right ahead and make your own style. I'm just going to show you my style, how I do it here. Chain up 3 and do 9 double crochet into the 3rd stitch from the hook. So the very first chain, you're going to do 9 double crochet. So a double crochet is yarning over, going into the stitch, yarning over, pulling through that stitch, yarning over and pulling through 2, yarning over and pulling through 2. That is a double crochet. So we're going to do those 9 in the middle here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I like to crochet over the top of my straggler yarn, so you can do the same or sew it in at the end. It's up to you. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2 more, 8 and 9. Alright, now we're going to have to connect to our first double crochet. So if you have to count back 9, you may do so, and then go underneath both of those loops and yarn over, pull through, and pull through. And there you've created a slip stitch. Chain up 2 and do 2 double crochet in each stitch around, so you will end up with 18 double crochet. One, 2, like that, and then 2 in the next stitch, so there's 4, 2 in the next stitch for 6, 2 in the next stitch for 8, 2 in the next stitch for 10, and so on until you get to 18. Okay, so I've made my last stitch, last double crochet in there, and there's 18 around. So if you have to count back to 18, just go to your very first double crochet and slip stitch into there like that to connect. So now we're making a circle, top of the hat, and now we need to increase again because obviously that's not going to fit on anybody's head. So let's increase doing chaining up 2 and then 2 double crochet into that same stitch that you chained up in. So 2 double crochet, and then we're going to do 1 double crochet into the next stitch. And then in the next stitch we're going to do 2 double crochet, and then in the next stitch we're only going to do 1. So in every other stitch you do an increase. So 2 in this next one, and 1 double crochet in the next, and then 2 in this one, and 1 in the next. So you get the point. So just continue on around till you get 27 stitches around, and then I'll meet back up with you when I'm ready to connect to the first double crochet. Okay, so I'm ready to connect to my first double crochet. If you're unsure of where to attach and do your slip stitch, just count back 27 stitches, and on that 27th stitch back, just do your slip stitch. So now we have 27 around, and you can see that it's making a circle and kind of making a bowl shape too, which is good because it's going to be a hat. We're making this teen adult hat, so I want to increase again, and this next round we're going to end up with 36 stitches. So we're going to double crochet 2 into this first stitch, and then we're going to do 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Okay, so 1 and then 1, and then in the next stitch we're going to do 2 double crochet. So 2 double crochet in this one, and then in the next 2 just make 1 double crochet in each stitch. Okay, like that. So we have 2 in the first, 1 in the next, 1 in the next, 2 after that, 1 in the next, and 1 in the next. So every third stitch essentially you're making an increase stitch. So let's do one more grouping here. We're going to do 1 and 2 because those two are in the same, and then 1 in the next, and 1 in the next. So do that all the way around. You should have 36 stitches by the end, and I'll meet you back up when we're ready to connect. Okay, so now I am at the end of my round, and there are 36 stitches on this round. So if you need to count back 36 stitches, otherwise if you know where your beginning stitch is, just slip stitch into the first double crochet, just like that. So now we need to do another increase round, and the next round we're going to increase. It is going to end up having 45 stitches, 45 double crochets. So let's chain up 2, and then increase. We're going to increase on the first stitch, so 2 in the first stitch, and then 1 in the next, 3. 1 in the next 3 stitches. So you'll have, in that grouping, you'll have 5 stitches. So you'll see here, we'll double crochet 1 and 2 in the same stitch, and then 3 is just single in this stitch. The next stitch will only have 1 also, and the next stitch will also only have 1. Okay, and then the next stitch we're going to do another increase. So again, 2 double crochet, and then in the next 3 just do 1 double crochet in each stitch. So 1, 1, and 1. Okay, and then in the next stitch we're going to do an increase, so 2 in this one, and then 1 in the next 3. 1 and then 1 and 1. So you get the pattern now. So do increase and then so that's 2 double crochet in 1 stitch, then the next stitch has 1, the next stitch has 1, and the next stitch has 1. So that grouping of 5. So let's do it one more time together. 2 in this stitch, and then 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches. Okay, so do that all the way around, just repeating that little pattern there, and I will meet you back up when you have 45 double crochets. Alright, so I'm done with that round. There will be 45 double crochets around, and we're ready to slip stitch to our beginning double crochet here. So do a simple slip stitch there. And now we have to increase again, which this next round will have 54 stitches. Essentially the same type of pattern we've been doing, just adding one more double crochet to those single ones. So it's better to be explained by showing rather than talking about it. So chain up 2, and then 2 double crochet in that same space as that chain up 2, 2 double crochet here. Okay, and then in the next 4 stitches you'll just do 1 double crochet in each of the next 4. So 1 here, 1 in here, 1 in here, and 1 double crochet in here. Okay, so now we're going to repeat that pattern, so do 2 double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, so 2 double crochet in that stitch, then do 1 double crochet in the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then once again repeat, so 2 double crochet in this stitch, so it's in the same stitch, increasing, and then 1 double crochet in the next 4 stitches. Alright, so you get the pattern there, so just increase going around, and you will have 54 stitches at the end of this round, so I'll meet you up when you have 54 double crochets. Okay, so I'm back up at the beginning here, and I have 54 stitches around. So we're just going to slip stitch to the beginning, and on this next round you'd think that we would do another increase, because this is obviously not going to fit a teen adult, which is the size I want to make. So instead, actually, we're not going to increase on this round because we still want it to make that bowl shape. And even though it is kind of making a little bit of a bowl shape, we want to make it even more of a bowl shape. So what I'm going to do is just chain up 2 and make 1 double crochet in each stitch around. So no increasing on this round. So at the end of this round you'll have 54 stitches again. So let's start here, 1 double crochet in each stitch. So in the next, just yarn over, go into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so if you already know by now how to do a double crochet, just do 1 double crochet in each stitch around, and I will meet you back up at the very end. Okay, so I just did 1 double crochet in each stitch around, and it's starting to look really nice, I think so. So we're just going to slip stitch to the very beginning double crochet to connect, and now On our next round, we will have to increase actually, but we're not going to increase by 9. We're actually going to only increase by 6. So we're going to be making this teen adult size. So what I need to do is increase. So let's do chain up 2. So we're going to do 2 double crochet in the first stitch, and then 1 double crochet in the next 8 stitches, okay? So in the end of this round, you're going to end up with 60 stitches. So let's start. We'll do 2 in the first one, and then 1 in the next 8. So 1, 2, oopsie, crocheters have mistakes, okay. Let's see here, 2, then 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So you'll count all of them together, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You'll have 10 in that group. Okay, so in the next stitch, we're gonna do 2 double crochets in that same stitch. Okay, so you can see that there. And then we're gonna do 1 double crochet in the next 8 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so just repeat that pattern, let's see, 4 more times until you get 60 stitches all the way around, and I will meet you back up at that time. Okay, so now I have made my increases up to 60 stitches all the way around, and I'm going to connect here with a slip stitch to the first double crochet. Now, in this next round, I'm actually going to go it through the whole round with you because you only have to increase twice during this round, and I want to make sure that you get the right amount of stitches. So what we're going to do, we're only going to have 62 stitches in the next round, so we're only going to increase twice during this round, but it needs to fit a teen or adult, so this is just not going to fit around as much, so we need it to stretch up just a hair more. So we need to get to 62 stitches. So what we're going to do is we're going to chain up 2, and then we're going to do a 2 double crochet in the first stitch. Okay, and then in the next 29 stitches, you're going to just do 1 double crochet. So count to 29. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, and 29. Okay, now in the next stitch, we are going to do 2 double crochets. So 1 and 2. Okay, that is our second increase, which it should be equally half of the hat. So you see there, we just increased on equally half of the hat. And now we just want to do 1 double crochet in each stitch to the end of the round. So I will meet you back up at that end when we're ready to connect. Alright, so I just made the rest of those double crochets since that increase that we did halfway at the half point. So I'm just going to do a slip stitch to the very beginning, and now we are done increasing. So now we're just going to do 1 double crochet in each stitch around for, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we want to get to 16. So we are going to do 7 rows of double crochet. So simply chain up 2 and do 1 double crochet in each stitch around, and then when you get to the end of each round, connect with a slip stitch, chain up 2, and do the same exact thing until you have, from the very beginning, you have 15 rows. Okay, so 15 rounds, and then we will change color, and we're going to make the brim of the hat in blue. So I will meet you back up when I am done with my white color. Okay, so I was crocheting and I ended up using the rest of the skein of yarn that I had. So I still have more white, but I don't have any more of the skein. So I thought maybe I'd show you how to change color, or if you run out of yarn and need to add more of the same color, just how to do that. So what I'm going to do, I'm almost done with my row. So what you need to do, if you have a long tail left, about 6 inches or so, just yarn over on that, and then go into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, but now we're leaving that, okay, and we're going to bring in our new yarn, and we're going to pull, just like take the end of that and the long end and make, just like pinch them together, so you make a little loop here and pull that through the 2 loops that were on the hook. Okay, so that is how you change the color, and then you start using your new skein of yarn, keeping these stragglers in the back, and yarn over, go into the next stitch and do your double crochet as normal, and you'll see that this starts to pull. So what you'll need to do is stop what you're doing and look on the inside where your stragglers are, and we're going to just pull these tight enough, and we're going to tie them in a knot, in a secure, tight knot, so this doesn't unravel, like so. And then later on, or right away, whenever you feel it's convenient for you, you can sew in the ends and just sew them in underneath. I'll show you a little bit of this one. So just go in between the stitches. I like to go underneath the stitches at the base of the row. So like this, and just take your strand and pull that through, secure it tight, and you can cut that then. It's safe to cut it and stretch it out so that that gets hidden inside. So again, do that same thing with the other piece that you tied the knot with, and it should be sewn in, and you can continue your work with your new skein of yarn. Alright, so I have made the rest of my rounds up until the very end of my hat. I feel like this is large enough to fit around and not going to cover the eyes. So some people make 15 rounds from the beginning. I have made 14 here, and I'm going to actually make 15 using new color. So my rim is going to be light blue. So what I'm going to do is, typically at the end of this round you would slip stitch to your first double crochet, which I'm going to do, but we're going to be adding, instead of slip stitching with the white, we are going to slip stitch with the blue. So just pulling this through and through like that, and this will come loose, but I will be tightening that in the back and when I fasten that off. So we're going to chain up 2, and then for this round I don't want it to become, you know, too long of a hat. It is kind of getting long now, so I want to just do half double crochets around this rim here. So if you're not sure what a half double crochet is, just do yarn over, go into the stitch, yarn over and pull through. You have 3 loops on your stitch, yarn over, and then pull through all 3. So let's do it again. Yarn over, go into this next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. So do just 1 row of half double crochets in the light blue, and just one half double crochet in each stitch. No increases, no decreases, just 1 in each stitch around, and I will meet you back up when I am ready to fasten off. Okay, so now I went all the way around with half double crochets all the way around my hat, and I left the skein of yarn of white on there, so I have to still snip that. So let me cut that, and we're done using that. And then the stragglers in the back here, we want to, because there's like a gaping hole, so we don't want this gaping hole there. So we want to pull this tight and pull this tight and tie a knot like so. And we are going to then fasten off, so we're going to slip stitch into our first half double crochet, and then to fasten off I usually just chain 1, snip and pull and tighten, and that way it's very nice and secure. And then on your own convenience you can sew in this end on the white end, and sew in this blue in the blue, and sew in this very last blue in the blue. So you can do that on your own time, but now we're done with the hat part itself. It looks very nice. You can make a hat just like this and leave it plain if you like, just a plain color in any color that you'd like, and you can make as many as you want in every different color. So on this specific one though, I'm going to make the Yeti Face. So Bumble from the movie Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So I was looking online, and I get a lot of my patterns through Ravelry.com, and I found there was a free pattern for the Bumble, for the Yeti Face. So I looked online, and I found Rachel Sahlberg actually posted on there the Abominable Snowman, or Bumble, and the hat, and she has her own hat pattern with fur. She uses fun fur actually, but I just like the plain design, and you can, you know, change it up however you like. But I found the pattern through her, and I'm going to use her pattern for the eyes, the blue behind the eyes itself, which are white, and then the mouth, which has blue, white, and black. So let's get started with the eyes. First, first we're going to make the eyes themselves, which are white. So let's set this aside. You only need a little bit of white. I'm just using some scrap yarn I have left over. Now for the rest of this hat, we're going to be using a size I hook. If you're making a smaller version of this hat, say a baby hat or a child size hat, you'll still want to use a size H hook that we've been using. But since I'm making a larger hat, I want to use a size I hook, which is a 5.5 millimeter, to make the eyes and the mouth. So let's start with white. We are going to make the eyes, the whites of the eyes. Just start with a slip knot, and the first thing it says to do is chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3, and then slip stitch into the first chain, so the third chain from the hook. So 1, 2, and 3, and this very last chain we're going to slip stitch, so yarn over and pull through that one and pull through, so pull through 2. Okay, and then you make a little circle, tiny little circle right there. So we're going to chain up 1, and then we're going to make, it says 6 single crochet into the center. So we're going to go down into the center of this circle, and I'm going to crochet over the top of my straggler yarn here. Pull through and through 2. Again, we're going to do another single crochet, so go into the circle, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2. That is a single crochet. So 4 more times. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alright, so it is safe to let go of that straggler in the back. I'll sew it in later. And then it says to attach. So make a slip stitch into our first single crochet, like so. And then it says to chain 3. So chain, well, I'm actually only going to chain 2 because this is becoming too large. So chain 2, and then double crochet in that same stitch that you chained up. So that's that. And then it says in the next stitch, do a half double crochet. So you yarn over and go into the stitch, yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all 3. That's a half double crochet. And then in the same stitch as that, make a single crochet. So just go into the stitch, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, and then in the next stitch, make a single crochet. So same thing, so go into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Then in that same stitch, make a half double crochet. So yarn over, go into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops that are on the hook. Okay, then it says 2 double crochet in the next stitch. So yarn over, go into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Then do that again in the same stitch, yarn over, pull go through the stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. Okay, then in the next stitch we are going to half double crochet, and we are going to single crochet in that same stitch. Alright, and then moving on to the next stitch, we're going to single crochet, and then in that same stitch we're going to half double crochet. Okay, and then there looks like there's another stitch here, but it's actually just our chain up. So we are going to attach our yarn to our first double crochet. So right here, and if you have to count back, you should count back 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and I skipped one, so 12 is actually right here. And it may be difficult because these are kind of tight, so you can get yours in there, like so. And then slip stitch, like that. Okay, so that is one round. We're going to go on to round 3 now. So chain up 1. Let's see here, we're going to do 2 single crochet into the next stitch. So 1 and 2, and then it says in the next 5 stitches just do 1 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then in the next stitch make 2 single crochet in the same stitch. So 1 and 2, and then it says single crochet in each stitch till the end. So that should be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the last thing it says is to slip stitch at the top. So if you have to count back, you should have 14 stitches, so count back 14 and slip stitch to the very top and fasten off. So I like to fasten off by chaining 1, and we're going to have a long strand to sew this to the hat, so cut off quite a long strand here, and then I just like to pull that all the way through and tighten it. So make 1 more of those just like that, and we will meet back when that is finished. Okay, so I have made the other one like this, so you just want to, sometimes it may show up like, it may go up in like a bowl shape like this, so you just want to stretch it out a little bit, make it flat, and make them the exact same size, so just like that, and those parts are done. Now you may use buttons for eyes, or I like to crochet my eyes actually just out of black crochet just small circles, because if I'm having children or small children especially use my hats, I don't want the buttons to maybe fall off and then they can be a choking hazard. So I use crocheted eyes to make it safe, but it's totally up to you. So just to show you how to crochet the pupil of the eye. Just do a slip knot here, and then chain 2, 1, 2, and then in that first chain just do 6 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then just slip stitch to the very first single crochet, like so. I like to, when I fasten off, I chain that one, cut my yarn, which I need a long strand to be able to sew it to the white of the eye, and pull that through and tighten that. So there's a little circle for the eye. So just, if you want to, just make 2 of those, and we will attach them to the eyes in a little bit, so they will look like this, kind of. I guess it's kind of sloppy with the ends of the yarn, but that's okay, you get the idea. And we'll sew those on in a little bit, but right now I want to go ahead and make the backs of the eyes. So we're going to take blue, and we're still using our eye hook, or 5.5 millimeter, and we're going to make the blue behind the eyes. So start with your slip knot, and chain 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Then double crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook. So 1, 2, and 3. So in the 3rd chain, we're going to double crochet, and then double crochet in each stitch across. So go into the chain like so, yarn over, into the stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. Again, yarn over, go into the stitch, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go into the stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So do that until the end of the row, and you should have 16 double crochet. Okay, and then on this last one, we're going to finish off, so we have this little track here. We're going to chain up 2, turn the work, so we're looking at the back side now, and we're going to skip this first stitch right here. We're going to skip that. We're going to yarn over and double crochet in each one across, but we're skipping that first stitch. So going into the 2nd stitch, double crochet into each across until you get to the last 2. So don't go so fast and double crochet in the last 2. We're actually going to stop before the last 2 stitches. So keep double crocheting. Alright, so we are down to the last 2 stitches. You can see 1 and 2 right there, and we are going to double crochet them together. So a double crochet decrease is yarning over, going into the first one, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, hold those onto the hook, yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and then lastly yarn over and pull through all 3. Okay, that is a double crochet decrease stitch. Then we are going to chain 1 and turn our work. Now it says to half double crochet across, so we are going to go into this first stitch this time. Half double crochet all the way across. I'll just do this really quick. I assume you already know how to half double crochet. And if you do not, there are other tutorials out there to show you how to half double crochet. And don't half double crochet in the very last stitch of this row. Actually, we are going to single crochet in the last stitch. So I did half double crochets, now I'm on the last stitch right here. We're not going to yarn over, we're just going to go into the stitch, yarn over and pull through, and then pull through 2. So that's a single crochet. And that's in the last stitch of that round. Then it says to chain 1 and turn. And we are going to skip the first stitch here, and then half double crochet across until you get to the third from last stitch. Okay, so skip this first stitch, half double crochet in the next, and the next across. Alright, and then once we get to the third to last stitch, we are going to half double crochet decrease those 2 together. So a half double crochet decrease, yarn over, go into the first stitch, yarn over and pull through, hold those 3 on your hook and go to the next stitch, yarn over, pull through that stitch, yarn over, and then pull through all 4 loops that are on the hook. Okay, and then we still have that one last stitch at the end, which we need to single crochet into that last stitch. And then chain 1 and turn. And then we need to repeat that last round that we just did. We need to repeat that twice. So again, we're going to skip this first stitch. We're going to half double crochet into this next stitch and across until we get to the third to last stitch. And then we're going to do a half double crochet decrease, so yarn over, go into the stitch, yarn over and pull through, hold all 3 loops on your hook, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through all 4 loops on your hook, and then single crochet in the last stitch of that round. You can see it's already starting to take some shape. It's going to go like this, except it's also going to be flat on the top. So we are almost done. Chain 1 and turn your work. And this time we're going to do the same thing. So skip this first stitch, half double crochet in the next, and across, half double crochet here, and so on. And then once you get to the third to last stitch, so you'll have to make sure, okay, so on the third to last stitch we want to half double crochet these 2 together, so yarn over and go into the stitch, yarn over and pull through, hold all 3 loops on the hook, go into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all 4 loops on your hook, and then simply single crochet into the last stitch. And then the last thing we need to do is just single crochet all the way around this whole piece, because this kind of looks a little jaggedy, and I think single crochets all the way around will make this look much cleaner. So simply just wherever, single crocheting down the sides of fabrics like this is a little difficult. You kind of just have to find a spot and single crochet. So a single crochet is just sticking your hook in, yarning over, pulling up, yarning over and pulling through 2. So just give it a nice, neat look. And then at the bottom you can go into each stitch. You can definitely see where the stitches are on the bottom. And when you get to this corner here, you'll see that there's this straggler. What I like to do, so I don't have to sew it in later, is I just crochet right over the top of it so that it gets sewn in basically. Alright, and see how this kind of curls up? You can just stretch this out and it should flatten out. Alright, we're on the last side to single crochet. And then once we get to the end, we need to fasten off right here. So just put your hook in, slip stitch. I always like to chain 1. And make sure this piece is quite long, because you're going to have to sew this whole piece around onto your hat. So I make sure that my tail is quite lengthy. You would rather have a much longer yarn and then not enough. So I'm going to make it super long there. And that is done. So that's going to go behind the eyes. So you'll see these eyes will go like this and like this. And then the eyeballs, or the pupils, will go in the middle, like similar to that. So we're going to set this aside, all these things aside, and we're going to make the mouth. And then in the very end, we are going to put all of that together. So to make the mouth, we need black, white, and blue, that same blue that we have. So we start out with black. So what we need to do is chain 16. So make your slip knot and chain 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. All right. Single crochet in the second chain from the hook and across. So in the second chain, so this is the first chain, this is the second chain, so we'll go into this one. 1, and then across, so the next one, and the next one, like so. Okay, and then in the last one, we are actually going to do 3 single crochets in the last chain. So this very last one, we're going to do 3 single crochet. 1, 2, and 3. Just like that, okay? Now we have to turn this upside down, so we were working on this side, okay? Now we are going to flip this upside down and work on this side, okay? So we need to, since we've already done 3 single crochet into this stitch, we can crochet over the top of this straggler as well, and just go to the next stitch and single crochet all the way across till you get back to the beginning. You're basically making a very long and narrow oval shape, so similar to Bumble's mouth. So okay, just do single crochets, do not yarn over. Alright, and the next stitch. Using black yarn can be difficult to use, but there are, if you have difficulty seeing the stitches with black yarn, they have these crochet hooks that are, they have lights on the end of the crochet hook, which is really nice, so that you can see exactly which stitch you need to go into. But I am doing pretty okay with this, so okay, going into the last 2 stitches. Alright, so we're back at the beginning, And what we need to do is just slip stitch to the very first single crochet and fasten off. And we are done with the black. You don't have to fasten off with a long tail, just do it short because we won't be needing this end to sew to the head. So we are done with this part. Now we are going to move on to making the white teeth. So we are going to need white again. And I'm just using some white scrap yarn that I have here. And we are going to make a slip knot just to reinforce this stitching here. So for the top set of teeth, it says to single crochet in the second stitch from the right. Okay, so there's 1 and then 2, so second stitch. We're going to slip stitch inside of there, and I'm just going to do a little slip stitch and a chain 1. Okay, and then it says, so single crochet in there as well, so make in the same stitch, do a single crochet. Alright. And then it says single crochet in the next 3 stitches. So do a single crochet like normal, single crochet, and 3. Okay, and then in the next stitch it says do a long single crochet. So a long one will be, if you can see here, I'll point it out. We're going to go down into this hole right here. Okay, so if you can see that, we're going to go in there, yarn over and pull that through, and make it sure it's loose enough so you're not so tight, because that is one of the long fang teeth, and yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, so that's one of his fang teeth. And then it says in the next 4 stitches just do 1 single crochet. So like normal, do a single crochet, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and then in the next stitch do another long single crochet. So we'll go through in here and yarn over and pull that up and make sure it's loose enough, and yarn over and pull through 2. Alright, so we have our 2 very long teeth, sharp teeth, and then it says single crochet in the last 4 stitches and then fasten off. So do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm actually going to do a slip stitch in that same last stitch. Slip stitch and then I chain 1, but I leave my hook in there, and I'm going to fasten off, so just a short snip there, and pull that through and tighten. So there is our top set of teeth. Now we're going to flip this upside down, and we're going to single crochet in the second stitch from the right. So there's this stitch right here, that's 1, and then the second one is right here. Okay, so I'm going to make my slip stitch like I did earlier. If I can find the end of my yarn. So I'm going to make a slip knot, sorry. And second stitch from the right. We're going to slip stitch in there, and then chain 1 and single crochet in that same stitch. Okay, then it says single crochet in the next stitch, so right here, and then make a long single crochet. So we're going to put our long single crochet into this hole right here. So going in, making our long, and yarning over and pulling through like that. Okay, and then it says 2 single crochet in the next 9. So 1 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. All right. And then, well, you know what? It says that, but I actually do not like it. So I am going to modify it and take out 2. And I am going to do my long single crochet in this one. So you can really eyeball it, make your own adjustments. I just like it to be even, so there. And then single crochet in the last 2 stitches. 1 and 2, and then fasten off. And then we're going to, so I do a little slip stitch here, and then I chain 1 and I fasten off. So now we're done with the white, and now we're going to move on to blue. So this is how our mouth looks so far without these ends. So now we are going to make the edging around this in blue. So with your blue, again, make your slip knot. Okay, and then it says start crocheting on the right side. So when you're looking at it, these 2 teeth that are on the inside should be at the top, and the 2 teeth that are on the outside should be at the bottom, and this should be your right side. Okay, and in the middle of the black. So there it should be a middle stitch here. You insert your hook, and we're going to do a slip stitch in just a moment after I get this. Okay, slip stitch this and chain 1. Alright, make sure that's secure. Then we're going to make 3 single crochet into that same stitch that we just worked in. So 1, 2, and 3. Then in the next stitch, double crochet. So you see the stitch right here is the next stitch, so double crochet into that. Okay, and then it says half double crochet across the top teeth. So yarn over, half double crochet in each stitch across the white. Alright, and then after that it says double crochet after the last tooth. So we are going to double crochet into the next stitch. That's actually the stitch I fastened off on the last round. So we're going to double crochet in that last stitch after the teeth. And then it says 3 single crochet into that middle stitch of the black. So like on the opposite side we did that 3 single crochet, and then moving to the opposite side of the mouth on the bottom teeth, double crochet into the next stitch like so. And then it says to half double crochet across the bottom set of teeth. So these are supposed to be the bottom set of teeth. So let's half double crochet across each one of those. Five, 6, Alright, coming up to the last one, and then it says to double crochet after the last tooth. So we want to double crochet in here. Alright, and then we're finished, so we have to just fasten to that first single crochet and pull it very tight. And then I like to chain 1 and make sure that this one is very long, like we did on the eyes. So cut your yarn very long there and pull that all the way through and tighten. And there's your mouth. So how cool does that look? Awesome. Now we are ready to sew on all of our pieces to our lovely hat. So let's get our hat over here. And the first thing we're going to do is, actually we're going to sew on the mouth first because I find it easier to line up the mouth and then the eyes. And you want to make sure that there is enough space. You don't want it to be too close together. So I like to have at least 2 rows, or 1.5 rows at least, between them. And also you don't want the mouth to come down to the brim, because that could be blue on blue. We want to make sure there's white in the back here. So make sure you just eyeball it and make your placement. And also keep in mind that our seam, if you can see, there's a seam right here going all the way down. So make sure that is in the back of the hat. You don't want to make that the front of your hat. So we have the front of our hat, and now to sew on these pieces, we're just going to put all these stragglers behind the piece. And that's where I want to put mine. You have your yarn needle. These are great handy tools to use. So just thread your needle with your yarn and simply sew it in. Now to sew it in, what I usually do is just go into any hole opening into the hat, and then from inside the hat I come back up and go into the next stitch over, and then just keep doing that. until we have the whole piece. You know, you may have a different technique to sew on your pieces. Do it whichever way you feel comfortable, whichever way you feel it will fasten tightly to the piece. And once you have your mouth all sewed on, we'll be right back. Okay, so now I have sewed on my mouth to my hat, and I've also sewed on, you want to sew on the eye to the white of the eye, like the pupil to the white of the eye first, and then sew the white onto the blue, okay? And you want to make sure that the shorter end is at the top and this longer and wider end is at the bottom, okay? And you can sew on buttons like I said earlier, or black dots, or you can do the crocheted eyeballs like I have here. You can make them googly-eyed, you can make them like I have cross-eyed, or you can have them right in the centers. It's up to you. So what now I want to do is has to be 2 black embroidered lines for the nose. So this can get kind of tricky, but you just want a short piece of black yarn like I have here, and you want to use your needle, so kind of like thread the needle with your yarn, okay, and then you want to go on the back side of this. You're going to go from back up in, and you're going to go from down here and up about half an inch up and in out into the back, okay, and that's going to be 1 nostril. Alright, and you can pull the yarn closer, so this is shorter on the back, and then just make sure you hold it though so you don't pull it through, and then do it the same exact stitch, so it doubles up, makes it a little thicker, more pronounced. Okay, like that. Then at the very top, we're going to go over to this side, to the other side right here, and we're going to pull that same yarn to make the other sided nostril. And you want to make sure they're even. So that looks even to me. And then make sure you double up this side too, so you want to make it just as thick. Like so. Nice. Alright, so you can play around with it how you like your nose to be, and then turn it over when you're done, and then just tie these 2 pieces in a knot so that they are secure. And then you don't even have to cut these off, because you can just leave this back here. I'm going to fasten on my eyes because I didn't fasten those yet, and they could fall off. But just leave that yarn in the back, you know, bunch it all up, and then sew that blue part to your hat, evenly spaced with the mouth, just like that. So I will come back and show you my final product when I have this sewed on to my hat. It looks really good so far. Okay, so I have finished my Bumble hat. It looks very silly and fun, and I'm excited about it because I might go out and sport it outside. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial video on how to make this Yeti hat, and you can personalize it to make it your own. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and you know, if you don't crochet and if you just want a hat like this, make sure to visit my online shop if you search YARNutopia, and join our fan page as well. Links will be in the description of this video. Leave a comment and like our post, and subscribe to our channel for more video tutorials on how to make crocheted items like this. Thanks for watching!